Hello and welcome to this new episode of the Eigen Values podcast. This is an audio version of the Eigen Values Substack and can be found at davidturver.substack.com. This time we cover the apparent contracts for Cronies that were awarded to Hornsea Project Three under the permitted reduction scheme that was part of Allocation Round 6 auction of renewable capacity that finished a week or so ago. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, share and subscribe to receive more content. Regular readers will remember the recent article on the AR6 results. After publication, I had a conversation that prompted me to take a closer look at the contracts awarded under the permitted reduction scheme. Let's take a look at what I found. According to the Contract for Difference microsite, a maximum of 25% of the original capacity of a project can be withdrawn from its original contract and rebid under the permitted reduction scheme part of AR6. If we now take a look at Hornsea Project Three offshore wind farm, it was originally awarded a contract in AR4 in 2022 with a total capacity of 2,852 megawatts. This original capacity is confirmed in the contract database as a low carbon contract company. The LCC database also shows that the withdrawn capacity is 705.9 megawatts, or 24.8% of the original capacity, which is slightly below the 25% limit. If we now turn to the AR6 results, we can see that Hornsea Project 3 was awarded 3 individual contracts under the permitted reduction scheme of 360 megawatts each, giving a total of 1,080 megawatts. This 1,080 megawatts represents 37.9% of the original capacity, which is well in excess of the 25% limit. The contract conditions for AR4 say that if they try to adjust the capacity to less than 75% of the original, then the request for adjustment will be invalid, meaning that the original terms of the contract apply. The obvious question therefore arises, why has Hornsea Project 3 been awarded permitted reduction contracts above the 25% limit? I approached the DESNZ press office on Sunday for an answer, but have not yet received a reply. In the absence of an official response, we can piece together information from other sources to try and shed some light on the issue. Hornsea Project 3 is owned by Ørsted, and Hornsea Project 4, also owned by Ørsted, was the biggest beneficiary of the AR6, winning a contract for a 2.4 gigawatt project. It's probably just accidental that Baroness Brown is a non-executive director of Ørsted and is a member of their Asset Project Committee. Coincidentally, the Baroness warned in the Times in May that the prices on offer in AR6 may not be appealing enough. And she said that the then Tory government needs to be a bit more generous and a bit more flexible. Baroness Brown is also chair of the Carbon Trust, which until recently employed Chris Stark as their chief executive. Mr. Stark is now head of mission control at the Department of Energy, Security and Net Zero, and is tasked with turbocharging the UK to clean power by 2030. Chris Stark and Baroness Brown have quite a close relationship, because Baroness Brown also sits on the Climate Change Committee, where Stark was CEO until earlier this year. Stark is also listed as a member of Baroness Brown's staff in her Register of Interest in the House of Lords. It's a strange coincidence that the government should apparently break its own rules and award permitted reduction contracts in excess of the limit to Hornsea Project 3, when a director of the owner, Ørsted, just happens to have a very close relationship with DESNZ's head of mission control. In the absence of any other explanation, the proverbial person on the Clapham omnibus will probably conclude that these awards amount to contracts for Cronies. I've submitted an FOI request to DESNZ requesting details of the contacts between the department and representatives of Ørsted during the AR6 process. It'll be interesting to see how this story develops when the press office finally responds and the results of the FOI request are published. Thank you for listening. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel to receive more content or sign up at davidturver.substack.com.